Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. It is my honor to declare this convocation officially convened. I'm truly proud to help celebrate UCalgary's graduating class of 2020. In an ordinary year, we would share this experience in person, with all the pomp and circumstance befitting of such a momentous occasion. But this is no ordinary year. This is the year that changed the way we work and learn, the way we connect with each other, the way we protect ourselves and others from harm, and this was the year that reinforced the principle of the social good. The pandemic, like other unexpected catastrophic events throughout world history, has presented many unique challenges as the structure of life and the systems that support our society are inextricably changed. I am a first-generation Canadian, my parents having come to Canada following World War II. Theirs was a world of catastrophe, uncertainty, and loss, but their success in rebuilding their lives in a new country was underpinned by their post-secondary education that was taken in a new language. For them, the worst had happened, and from there they knew they would be able to navigate whatever challenges might surface. The challenges we face in our lives, big and small, make us adaptable, resilient, and more able to face uncertainty. You are graduating into a world transformed by COVID-19 and challenged by a degree of political and societal polarization not seen in almost a century. But you are equipped with a toolkit full of skills that will help you adapt and respond to a changing environment. And if we know one thing, it's that the world is more fluid than it ever has been. Disciplines connect and collide, which is why you should not be constrained by the letters in your degree. I wasn't. I graduated with an English degree and landed on Wall Street with a job in finance. Like all of you, my university education taught me to analyze, synthesize, and communicate, and those abilities turned my BA into my Be Anything. This is an extraordinary moment in history, and it needs extraordinary people to get us through to the other side. The class of 2020 is in a position to shape our collective future. The pandemic is laying bare inequalities in communities across the country and around the globe, while technology is breaking down silos and showing us diverse perspectives and solutions that deserve consideration. The influence of this moment on the next generation of professionals will be powerful. Equity, diversity, and inclusion are interwoven within our cultural values now more than ever before, and that makes us stronger together. The last 9 months has brought with it a decade's worth of change, but as Sir Winston Churchill said, to improve is to change, to be perfect is to change often. I don't think we'll ever reach perfection, but there is always room for improvement, no matter where it leads. I'm sure that as students you had some difficult days, when you struggled in isolation with your coursework and missed in-person time with professors and classmates. And yet here you are, celebrating your academic achievement. Through hard work, dedication, and adapting to this new world, you have reached this important goal. Remember this day. And as you continue your journey from here, take the time to acknowledge and celebrate your ongoing accomplishments. I know there will be many, so please stay connected. Congratulations to a graduating class like no other, the class of 2020. I now invite President and Vice Chancellor Ed McCauley to come forward to address convocation.
Thank you for that introduction, Chancellor Yedlin. And to all of the graduates, family, and friends joining us online, welcome. It's an honor for us to celebrate this milestone with you, and we could not be more proud of what you have accomplished. Congratulations to the class of 2020. In a typical convocation address, the university president shares words of wisdom and guidance to inspire the graduating class. But graduates, I want to do something a bit different. Because the leadership that you've shown over these past few months has been extraordinary. I want to talk about how you have inspired all of us here at the University of Calgary. You've mentored and encouraged fellow students. You've worked closely with faculty and staff. And you've enriched our community through the gifts of your time, compassion, and knowledge. Graduates, I want to highlight the ways that you've already changed our world for the better. And I'll share a few examples, starting with Adewale Ajayi, who completed a Master of Laws from the Faculty of Law. Adewale defended his LLM thesis with no corrections, a sign of the excellence in his work to examine how Canadian law considers climate change in environmental impact assessments. In addition to this academic achievement, Adewale was a tireless volunteer in numerous roles, from contributing to the Canadian Symposium on Academic Integrity to representing his faculty on the Graduate Students Association. Adewale is now completing his qualifying certificate with the Federation of Law Societies of Canada, and he plans to continue his studies in a doctorate program. Congratulations, Ardawale. Vivian Tan completed a Bachelor of Arts in Urban Studies and demonstrated incredible initiative throughout this program. Vivian was recruited to be a research assistant for the Canada Research Chair in Global Urban Studies. She stepped up to co-found and lead Advocates for Equitable Design Education, a student-led collective to advance social justice through new design principles. And throughout her degree, Vivian demonstrated exceptional critical thinking, technical skills, and work ethic, earning recognition from both the Department of Geography and the School of Architecture, Planning, and Landscape. Up next for Vivian is a master's degree in architecture. Congratulations, Vivian. Serena Zoletta completed a Master's of Fine Arts in Drama. She has won a number of awards for her playwriting and creative leadership, including a prestigious grant from the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council. Serena applied this grant to write a play exploring the experience of anorexia nervosa, particularly how this disorder manifests in the lesser-known condition of compulsive exercise. She has fostered important conversations on this topic, applying her tremendous talents as a writer to improve understanding, nurture resilience, and inspire hope. Serena has such a bright future ahead. Congratulations, Serena. Alyssa Bruce completed a Master of Sciences in Sustainable Energy Development, pursuing these studies at the same time that she led a professional career in the oil and gas industry. Alyssa has served as a Director of Community Outreach for Water Movement, a new venture under Engineers Without Borders Calgary. In this role, Alyssa supported vital work to address water issues facing Indigenous peoples in Canada. As a part of her capstone project, Alyssa worked with an industry partner, Renewwell, to look at how unreclaimed oil and gas sites could be repurposed for solar power. This partnership was so successful that the team has recently received $2.1 million in funding to support this ongoing initiative. Moreover, Alyssa continues to inspire others with her passion for leadership in sustainability. Congratulations, Alyssa. Graduates, these stories are joined by so many others. We are proud of each and every one of you. Wherever life takes you next, please know that you are not alone. You are part of an alumni family now over 190,000 strong, joined by fellow leaders and visionaries who share your commitment to making a positive difference in the world. I wish you every success. And once again, congratulations. The University of Calgary awards honorary doctorates. This is our university's highest academic honor. An honorary doctorate is bestowed upon individuals whose notable achievements and community service merit recognition. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Dr. Maria Klawe. Dr. Klawe is the president of Harvey Mudd College at the Shanahan Center for Teaching and Learning. She has led a distinguished career in science and engineering, including innovative work at the forefront of discrete mathematics and human-computer interactions. In addition, Dr. Klawe has championed the next generation of innovators in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. From her tireless efforts to include more women in STEM, to her work to advance mathematics education, Dr. Klawe has had a profound impact that will resonate for years to come. On behalf of the Senate and the university, I invite you to invest Dr. Maria Klawe with the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
I admit you, Dr. Maria Klawe, to the degree Doctor of Laws honoris causa and grant you all the rights and privileges, powers and responsibilities pertaining to this degree. Congratulations. I invite you to address convocation.
Congratulations to all 2020 graduates, especially those who completed their degree during the pandemic. I know how challenging many things have been during this period of remote learning. I'm truly honored to receive an honorary degree from the University of Calgary. When I graduated with my honors math bachelor's degree in 1973 and then my PhD in 1977 from the University of Alberta, I didn't have a clue about the quality of my education, especially how it compared to the quote unquote elite universities of the world. Now, more than 40 years after my PhD and having spent time at some of those elite institutions, I can be quite certain about how wonderful it was. The quality of teaching, the rigor of the curriculum, the opportunities for one-on-one interaction with faculty equal or exceed anything I have encountered since. I know the education you have received at the University of Calgary is just as wonderful. This honor has made me think about how many of the passions and values of my life were formed and shaped during my 13 years that I lived in Alberta. I was 12 years old when my family moved back from Edinburgh, Scotland to Edmonton. During our 8 years in Scotland, I had been very proud of being Canadian and had yearned to move back to a country that had snow during the winter. The chance to live in a province with rocky mountains, endless fields of wheat and mustard, birds, wildlife, waterfalls, fast-flowing rivers, and the most beautiful cloud formations I'd ever seen inspired my love for painting, something I still do all the time. The excellent teaching in my high school and then in university sparked my love for mathematics. The rarity of girls and women in the advanced math courses I took, something that was true all around the world at that time, launched my passion for recruiting and supporting women in STEM fields, a passion that has been at the center of my life for more than 50 years. And now I would like to offer some advice for coping with the current and ongoing challenges created by the COVID-19 pandemic. Several months ago, Andrew Durantes, the Treasurer and Vice President for Business Affairs at Harvey Mudd College, suggested two strategies, namely pivot and show grace. I have found them incredibly helpful. We are living in a time of unprecedented uncertainty and stress. In addition to causing much illness and death, the virus is causing dramatic shifts in human behavior that will have long-term effects on the economy in many parts of the world. Many of us will need to pivot in terms of career options, learning new subjects and skills to meet the needs of a changing world. This happened to me more than 40 years ago. When I was doing my PhD, I was sure my career would be as a math professor at a Canadian university. It never happened. There were only a couple of academic openings for pure mathematicians in Canada the year I graduated. I didn't get either of them. I did get an assistant professorship at a university in Michigan and took it, but I hated it, mostly for lifestyle reasons. No ethnic restaurants, no foreign movies, no bookstores, no boyfriends, and no other Canadians. By chance, I discovered that some of the mathematicians whose research I respected were professors in computer science rather than math, and there were lots of job openings in computer science. Unfortunately, I knew nothing about computer science, so I decided to do a second PhD. In the fall of 1978, I started as a grad student at the University of Toronto. My plan was to complete the course requirements in my first year and write up my thesis in the second. 5 months later, I was being asked to apply for positions in Canadian computer science departments. When Toronto heard I was interviewing for positions elsewhere, they demanded that I apply to their department too. I did, and in the fall of 1979 started as an assistant professor. Since then, I have spent much of my research career working on math problems related to computer science. The point of this story is that I wanted to do mathematics at a time when the world needed computer scientists. I've ended up being both a mathematician and a computer scientist, being passionate about both disciplines and loving the opportunity to work at the interface. Learning a new discipline can be challenging. It's surprising how different cultures and values are across disciplines. However, the most pressing challenges facing our world require expertise from many areas and the ability to bring together effective multidisciplinary teams. The ability to pivot, to learn new subjects, and to work effectively across different cultures will be of huge benefit to your career. And now show grace. In this difficult time, everyone is experiencing much greater levels of stress than usual. When someone behaves differently from how you expected or hoped, show grace. In closing, let me congratulate you once more and wish you all the best for the future. Congratulations.
Thank you and welcome to the University of Calgary family. I now invite Drew Marshall, Provost and Vice President Academic, to address convocation.
This ceremony is first and foremost a celebration of your success, and deservedly so, for you are an impressive group. We would like to honor graduates for special recognition, who, as students, excelled in their studies and co-curricular activities to the point where they are singled out as a medal winner. The details of the medals we are awarding and the names of the medal winners can be found on special recognition page of the Convocation website and in the digital Convocation program. Eminent Chancellor, it's my honor to present the following medal winners. The winner of the Governor General's Silver Medallion, the winner of the Chancellor David B. Smith Gold Medal in Engineering, and the recipient of the Association of Professional Engineers and Geoscientists of Alberta, past President's Gold Medal in Electrical, is Martin Bobeck. Martin has an interest in embedded hardware and software design and enjoys applying fundamental theories to break down complex problems to find solutions. Martin has started his career at Garmin Canada, where he strives to bring enthusiasm and innovation to the design of new and exciting fitness products. He is looking forward to applying the knowledge and intuition gained from his degree as he gains more industry experience and makes meaningful connections with engineering professionals. The recipients of the Association of the Professional Engineers and Geoscientists of Alberta past presidents' gold medals are awarded to the following. For chemical, Rachel Rohde. For civil, Wael Jabir. For energy, Kayleen Gruber. For geomatics, Erica Lemieux. For mechanical, Katya Greco. For oil and gas, Mohammed Chamali. For software, Paul Chen. Congratulations to the Governor General and gold medal winners in the Schulich School of Engineering. Graduates, please prepare for the conferring of your degrees. Eminent Chancellor and President, on behalf of the faculties of the university, I present the 2020 graduates. I ask that they be pledged and admitted to the University of Calgary degrees that they have earned.
As a graduate of this university, you join a worldwide kinship of educated persons who have earned opportunities and responsibilities of leadership and service in their chosen communities. To recognize this affinity, we invite each graduate to stand and join with the thousands who have gone before in making the University of Calgary's Graduates Pledge. The pledge is not an oath, but a solemn expression of your intention to apply your learning and experience positively for the widest benefit. It is now my pleasure to introduce our distinguished graduate, Noha Mohammed, who will lead the Graduates Pledge. An accomplished marketer, media producer, entrepreneur, and storyteller, Noha completed a Bachelor of Commerce degree at the Haskayne School of Business. In 2015, Noha launched Calgary Arabia Radio, a live radio show that showcases Arab art and cultural heritage on Red FM. She has also served as a volunteer with the Calgary International Film Festival and has been a member of the board of directors for the Calgary Arab Arts and Culture Society since 2016. Welcome, Noha Mohammed.
Thank you, President Macaulay. Graduates, I will now lead you in the graduate pledge posted on your screen. Please follow along and also read aloud. When we finish, you will also say along with me, "This is my pledge." As a graduate of the University of Calgary, wherever my life may take me, I will use my knowledge, experience, and skills to the best of my ability for the well-being of my communities and for the advancement of learning and the public good. I will conduct myself with honesty and integrity, taking responsibility for my actions and respecting the rights, opinions, and dignity of all peoples. I will maintain my competency and keep abreast of developments in my chosen fields. I will strive to better my communities through good citizenship and active participation. I will be a loyal ambassador for my university and will seek to promote its welfare and maintain its reputation. I will honor all who have shared their knowledge with me and will, in my turn, share my knowledge and experience with those who enter my field or come under my direction. In all my dealings, I will endeavor to be known as a person of honor and repute, ever seeking to earn the peace of good conscience. This is my pledge.
By the authority of the statutes of Alberta and upon recommendation of our faculties, I admit you to the University of Calgary degrees you have earned and grant you the rights and privileges, powers and responsibilities pertaining to those degrees.
Graduates of the Schulich School of Engineering, you now represent the future of engineering in Alberta, Canada, and the world. Over the coming years, you will provide ever-increasing leadership to solve the complex problems facing society at the local, national, and international level. You will solve problems that we are only beginning to understand. Your strong engineering technical knowledge, combined with teamwork, communications, and design skills, will help you become national leaders and entrepreneurs. Remember that engineering at its core is a call to serve humanity. Throughout your careers, you will have countless opportunities to better the environment in our local and global communities. Please seize every chance to make a positive difference. You have accomplished so much to finish your degree, and I know this is just the start. We will watch your careers unfold with incredible pride. Congratulations and be proud. You are a UCalgary Schulich engineer. Eminent Chancellor, by the authority of the Council of the Schulich School of Engineering, we have the honor to present the following graduates.
The degree of Bachelor of Science in Energy Engineering. Lorenz Christopher Rousel Egdemag. Mohammed Al-Azazi. Jonathan Stewart Anderson. Adisu Abera Asfa. Nash John Ross Barrett Erickson. Jared Duncan Burlingham. Krista Lane Obispo Dezo. William Lance Gawi. Sean Andrew Gilmore. Kalen Matthew Gruber with distinction. Maziar Hassanpour with distinction. Clay Mitchell Howe. Dean Thomas Johnson. Hyunju Kim. Eric Matthew Lausen. Brady James Lee. Travis Yatsun Leong. Wei Lee. Jordan Richard Louis. Diego Antonio Lovato. Nikita Maximoff. Richard Michael Matias. Cody Alexander James McManus. Nicholas Moreno. Brandon Tyler Sawyer Mayuse. Younghoon Oh. Alexander Gia Kayun Kwan, David Schulteis, Motasi Shahid, Young C, Chase Joseph Sillers, Gok Khan Tran, Megan Brittany Vok with distinction, Huyan Jiao with distinction, Dimitro Zolob, for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering, Ahmad Afif Abib, Barakat Adiduyan Adaramu, Ahmad Raza Akhtar, Rachna Anand, Samin Arnab, Jake Benedict Artis, Varun Nikhil Bhatt, Hebron.
Sorry, that has a with distinction.
Oh, Varun Nikhil Bhatt with distinction. Hebron Iqbal Bhatti, Shelby Edward Blackmore, Naisbert Bamira, Logan Chester Cathcart, Logan Robert Chapman, Xiaoyu Chen, Ningzin Chen, Esther Choi with distinction, Janwoo Choi, Carissa Mei Chung with distinction, Ryan James Cole with distinction, Connor Daniel Collette with distinction, Keelan Brent Coombe with distinction, Tiffany Dang, Chloe Olivia Deutscher, Jaskaran Singh Danawa, Timerlin Dasanov, Cameron Alexander Robert Dyson with distinction, Noel Vincent Escalona Achano, Carmen Anna Eskison, Elena Avery Petralia, Robin Jacqueline Graham with distinction, Timothy Snyder Grove with distinction, Diana Hakel, Austin Eric Hartwell with distinction, Mohammed Haider, Changxiao He, Benjamin Matthew Hennessy with distinction, William Ming Chan Ho, Lucy Yingshui Huang, Nayazbek Ilyasov, Asen Imran, Sabrina Marie Irwin, Alexandra Ivanova with distinction, Taylor Charles Jackson with distinction, Ashley Nicole J, Jasjeet Josh, Zachary Benjamin Khan with distinction, Edward William Cambulis, Rohit Kapila, Shaliza Sheroz Kassam, Oluwatobi David Kihinde, Rita Khalid, Dean J. Huan Kim, Yingcheng Chu with distinction, Dongjun Kwan, Hea Laham, Andrew Jason Lee with distinction, Clara Sohoon Lee with distinction, Sang Yeop Lee, Jenny Yunyi Lee with distinction, Jiongjian Lee, Xiaoshen Liang, Jerui Lin with distinction. Oh, that was wrong. Jenrui Lin with distinction. Daniel Min Ma. Athena Emilia Manulakis. Jane Marie Maynard. Jordan McEwen with distinction. Estia Scott McNeely. Scott Ross McNichol with distinction. Alexandra Mkshenko. Ayman Namandine. No, that was wrong. Ayman Najmuddin. Monir Nasser. Alvin Yong Hui Ing. Choi Nguyen with distinction. Tui An Nguyen with distinction. Sonia Adana Obi. Remy Ikana Onyeg Batulam. J. Manoj Kumar Patel. Wenyi Peng. Samia Tassan Rahman. Nathan Douglas Ripley with distinction. Rachel Lean Rode with distinction. Maria Laura Romero with distinction. Juan Andres Romero Palmer. Benit Seni. Bilal Amir Salim with distinction. Camilo Sanchez Casada with distinction. Macaulay James Emerson Scott with distinction. Thomas Jordan Scott. Vladislav Semyonov. Mandeep Singh Shergill. Brandon Dong Hyuk Shin with distinction. Puyan Shojawi. Kalith Ashini Saiva Balan with distinction. Donovan Terrence Stagg with distinction. Fatima Syed. Monica Rose Tumong. Zewi Tang with distinction. Zarin Tasnam. Nicholas Anthony Tomei. Gabriela Urego. Vidar Verbeek. Fabrianto Vincent. Minfu Vo. Quinton James Wanzura with distinction. Chen Chen Wang with distinction. Homing Omar Watt. Andrew Wong. Anju Chor Ching Wong. Ashley Wong with distinction. Ashley Caitlin Wong with distinction. Patrick Martin Wu. Calvin Wu with distinction. Lexine Yang. Evan Sean Yarmak. Daniel James Young. Omar Hisham Yosef. Bofeng Zhang. Yanying Zhang with distinction. Tianyi Jiao. Peiyi Zhang. Jiaoling Zhang. Qingying Zhou. Zuying Zhou. Yubo Jiu. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, Elmi Abdi with distinction. Foyez Ahmed. Youngjun An. Mariam Haider Mariam Haider El Baldawi. Melody Ann Aquino El Mario. Caitlin Colleen Badley. Catalina Barreto. Matthew Bedard, Aaron Jonathan Burrs, Soma Bhatti, Brian Derek Bortolotto Friedman with distinction, Caitlin Ashley Bueller, Janine Karen Boozer, Shinrui Sai, Janshir Kartha, Stanley Raymond Chu, Chai-Hung J. Chung, Matthew Cloutier, Jaden Craig Crandall Wanshu Deng, Ala Ibrahim Abdallah Iman, Saif El Mahdi. Okay. Ala Ibrahim Abdallah, Iman Saif El Mahdi, Ella Abigail Elumir, Ed Matthew Fableton, Tanner Randall Fedorchuk with distinction, Selena Gandha, Avneet Gosal, Alex Acock Goff with distinction, Morgan Anthony Grab, Cale Alexander Gregson, Yiming Hu with distinction, Pauline Huang, David Neil Heslage, Justin Huyen, Ahmed Iqbal, Adana Stephanie Isalibo, Fadi Istaya, Whale Jabir with distinction, Christopher Paul Jakubowski with distinction, Yash Pradeep Jani, Ching Tian Jiang with distinction, Shaylin Celeste Jones with distinction, Doris Adonis Kamala, Karthaban Karuna Karan, Rajdeep Singh Kosa, Saad Khurshid with distinction, Boris Thean Lam, Isla Gwendolyn Lorette with distinction, Kevin Junghoon Lee, Michaela Lee with distinction, Yingda Lee with distinction, Darshan Lauji Thasan, Salik Elhani Malik, Aaron John Mann with distinction, Rojeen Manzouri, Colin Benjamin McDonald, Gideon David Mentai, Evan John Morique, Raven Ashley Moore, Zakarullah Muradali, Esen Najafi Shari, Naushin Noel, Simon Roy Obad, Eli Faye Orr with distinction, Ola Sankanami Najim Oodei, Karen Rachel Paquette, Tara Ann Paradis with distinction, Nicholas James Pikonsky, Samuel John Kokaran Pollock with distinction, Lalitha Prasad, Dana Allison Priest, Dennis Sadi Kaj, Michael Francis Sadowski with distinction, Dinar Sajwani, Erikas Salkauskas, Harmanjeet Singh Sandhu with distinction. Stephanie Leah Francis Sebastian with distinction. Amina Selman. Dipal R. Shah. Nathan William Shanner. Anjali Sharma. Tabia Shala. Harman Sidhu. Myrna Ashraf Naseem Sabhi. Cassidy Linda Stadel with distinction. Natasha Chirag Kumar Suthar with distinction. Cassidy Thoreau. Henry Hao Yu Tong with distinction. Dana Michelle Tucker with distinction. Byron John Ockhart with distinction. Jason Choi Wong. Sophie Marie Whitaker with distinction. Jenyi Xian Zhu with distinction. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, Farhan Abdullah. Babafami Ayo Midi Adin Iran with distinction. Chadhala Samojith Adhikari. Anumik Ahmed. Javad Salman Ali. Japanjot Singh Arora. Mohammed Ahmed Medhat Barakat. Scott Christopher Benson. Kevin Charles Blakey. Martin Bobeck with distinction. Nolan James Boulay with distinction. Kirsty Chow with distinction. Abdullah Bashir Chima. Ujai Chen. Lawrence Manlone Chu with distinction. Tyler Gary Cunningham. Aaron Roderick Dalik with distinction. Diana Dang. Abdulkarim Ibobola Dolepo with distinction. Donald Robert Dunn with distinction. Ryan Lauchin Dunn. William Lucas Amon. Joshua Carl Flores with distinction. Austin Thomas Gallagher with distinction. Alexandria She Giesbrecht with distinction. Rachel Marie Gill. Nada Hammond with distinction. Patrick Wade Hickey. Dylan Jackson Hofer. Dong Ming Ho with distinction. Taylor Wenzi Huang with distinction. Yi Hui Huang. Ron K. Ida Yipe with distinction. Sanjana Jarin with distinction. Shuyi Jin with distinction. John Ezekiel Giuliano with distinction. Abbas Khan. Sihun Kim with distinction. Taeyong Kim. Sijal Sudeep Kumar, Anmol Singh Lambra, Amanda Sunhae Lee with distinction, Andrea Lemez, Yeohua Lee, Hanming Liu, Kenneth Paul Douglas Lowry with distinction, Benjamin Wilfred Left with distinction, Jashish Girish Madigyal, Hussein Majid, Arash Malhotra, Kanchana Anapuma Marasingh, Agnes Stewart Matheson, Weilun May, Van Yu Ming, Connor Jeffrey Mullen with distinction, Austin Riley Nagri Bianco with distinction, Marielle Angela Andea Naron, Hamza Nasrullah, Min Zui Nguyen with distinction, Arden Joy O with distinction, Nasser Mohammed Osman, David Donald Parkham with distinction, Amandeep Singh Parmer with distinction, Raveen Singh Parmer with distinction, Natalia Pavlovic with distinction, Nicholas Pelicano, Kirill Polzaunov with distinction, Moise Ali Kassar, Mark Christian Quinton, Ryan Joseph Raimondo with distinction, Luke Wyatt Renault, Munifa Saeed with distinction, Rahal Saha, Nathan Daniel Schlepp with distinction, Yubing Shen, Changyou Kevin Shen, Justin Matthew St. Peter, Safa Syed, Daniel Dave Villamore Tablazon with distinction, Kasha Talega with distinction, Yuchen Tang, Fenghui Tian, Courtney To, Evan Silvano Waddell, Kevin Jordan Widman with distinction, Simon Su Voon Wong with distinction, Liam Alexander Rubleski with distinction, Bo Wen Shuya, Xiang Zhang, Yuqing Zhao with distinction, Keian Jiao, Yixiong Jiao. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Geomatics Engineering, Miriam Lucille Dietz, Congorzel Duran Bolig, Kelly Louise Hark with distinction, Brandon Austin Langton, Erica Christina Lemieux with distinction, Chris Lynn, Morgan Shannon Moe with distinction, Dawood Nadim with distinction, Jeffrey Stewart Platt with distinction. Juan Jose Rivera. Stephen Michael Schroeder. Jeffrey Allen Thompson with distinction. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Iman Abadi. Abdulrahman Hussein Abbas Adel-Hafaz with distinction. Zaid Abdul Ghafoor. Hunan Ahmad. Arsalan Aftab Akhtar. Muhannad Ibrahim Ali. Amarul Siamin Amarul Hassani. Fahad Hassan Amjad. Justin Baga. Ibrahim Ali Beg. Janae Hope Baker. Allison Nancy Bartel with distinction. Diego Alejandro Bastidas Most with distinction. Samuel Albert Balin. Kalen Ronald Bernier. Evan Kyle Borchers. Marcus Terry Boone. Tanvir Singh Brar. Nathan Caleb Brown. Connor John Buchholz with distinction. Hayden Breed Cameron with distinction. Jose Miguel Carreno with distinction. Julian David Castro Gutierrez with distinction. Riley Cabot Chan with distinction. Justin David Sharon with distinction. Louis Chartrain. Aaron Dennis Chow. Someshreya Chowdhury. Serhii Tchaikovsky. Zachary Peter Chi Yirong Chen. Richard June Huang Chu. Tyler Joshua Chu with distinction. William Michael Clack. Matthew Scott Corbeil with distinction. Paolo Uberto Cristini with distinction. Chaz Ryan Cross. Matthew Thomas Kenvig Curran. Michael Eric Davies with distinction. Manpreet Kaur Diol with distinction. Musaddiq Mehdi Dalwala with distinction. Marcus Alexander Dielson. Ruturaj Bharat Dewanji. Shivraj Bharat Dewanji. Sharice Dominsky. Andrea Nicole Dumintru with distinction. Benjamin Joseph Durant with distinction. Yanda Fang. Yu Fang. Jonathan Scott Farquharson with distinction. Kazi Tayeb Ul Fatah. Avery Jane Foray with distinction. Kaylin George Gaina Giroega with distinction. Sean Gare. Jeremiah Gomez Garcia. Kyle Francis Gardner. Matthew George Gallowitz. Pankaj Ghonsela with distinction. Luke Mile Giesbrecht with distinction. Calvin Daniel Reed Geese. Owen Arthur Gorson with distinction. Robert Taylor Ezra Goldbeck. Patrick Gerald Gould. Keegan Edward Albert Graham. Katia Michaela Greco with distinction. Gurpreet Singh Grewal with distinction. Nicholas Patrick Harder. Nathan Randall Hartford with distinction. Austin Richard Hartley. Bryce Christopher Hassel. Talha Hassan. Bayan Hatam. Mitchell Chase Higgin. Kenneth Yinayan Hin. Torshio Akira Hire. William Seiji Hoshizaki. Gabriel Gihim Hung. Amro Tamer Hussein. Austin Levi Jarvis. Rahul Javaji with distinction. Jeffrey Jen with distinction. Daniel Scott Johnson. Prabhat Kainth. Evan Nicholas Kaiser. Moon Suk Kang. Prem Karadia. Noshin Sayara Karim with distinction. Stephen Andrew Kemp with distinction. Abhishek Khosla. Kyungsub Kim. Victoria Jessie Coe. Peter James Corral. Joel Kramer with distinction. Daniel Wesley Krazel. Emily Joan Cuivers with distinction. Tyler Patrick Kirchina with distinction. Philip Kwan. Nicholas Francesco Lamarca. Amy Maricris Dalmacio Ladia. Mei Ting Lei with distinction. Ling Yu Li with distinction. Diego Leap. Sebastian Leap. Bryden Martin Chengxing Li. Charlotte Ligier with distinction. Brandon Richard Line with distinction. Harry Liu with distinction. Demetria Eljeljevic. Austin Bradley Lepke. Christopher Michael Lofson with distinction. Lingjun Ma. Mitchell William McKay with distinction. Coriana Gar Yan Ma with distinction. Raymond Kai Chung Mak. Jeffrey Louis Martins. Ryan Danielle Martin with distinction. Jared Frederick McGosland. Cameron McDonald. Eric McClure with distinction. Conrad Benedict Milcharek with distinction. Ali Mirzada. Nazanin Moqtaderi. Kyle Burke Muir. Raghav Munjal. Alex Mitchell Nivangshanov with distinction. Manho Ng. Beokoi Tian Nguyen with distinction. Clara A. Thao Nguyen. Dan Than Nguyen with distinction. Marco Nix with distinction. Christopher Mark O'Neill. Zedekiah Ocampo. Grayson Elias Oman. Beatrice Ara Texan Ong. Nishanth Padmanabh Hani. Hiba Mehboob Paracha. Jang Kyung Park. Kyle J. Perot. Neshkumar Harishbhai Patel. Simran Paudal. Mohit Chowdhury Pavulari with distinction. Felipe Pina. Simon Pang. Corey Fu. Eric Roger Pinkston with distinction. Jacob Robert Plant. James Caston Richards. Gavin John Roberts with distinction. Alexander Dale Robert Shaw. Braden Cole Ryan with distinction. Aaron Christopher Siang Chen with distinction. Yosef Abdulrahman Azar Jawad Sharif. Saad Sadiq. Harsupreet Kaur Sidhu. Sukhdeep Singh Sidhu. Patrick Neil Solito. Elena Mae Simpsons Panida. Peter Skarajny. Derek John Snow. J. Redmond Stuyek with distinction. Noah Zachary Tainch with distinction. Diraj Vimal Talwar. Egder Tan. Claudio Giuseppe Tarasco with distinction. Bradley Taylor Thomas. Vladislav Timofeyev. Philip Tott. Cassidy Marie Van Heist. Ajeshwar Jashhist. Jianho Wang with distinction. Seamus Benjamin Calvez Westra with distinction. Mickey James White with distinction. Michael Robert Winder. Lucas Allen Winquest with distinction. Derek Man Yui Wong with distinction. Yuxiao Wu. Mazen Sharif Zaki. David Zurinsky, with distinction. Peiyun Zhao. Zaihao Chung. Siji Chu, with distinction. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Oil and Gas Engineering, Mohammed Kamali. Santiago Fuentes. Marshall William Klassen. Tanner Edward Martin. Sanjia Ta. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Software Engineering, Musa Ali. Christopher Oren Baker. James Garson Buse, with distinction. Kendall J. P. Blaze, with distinction. Jared Donovan Britnell, with distinction. Kimberly Karina Chan, with distinction. Paul Michael Chan, with distinction. Cashin Taylor Chikmoroff, with distinction. Chantel Mei Chung, with distinction. Sebastian Richard Kreitz. Mark Joshua Denez Ricald. Bailey Kenneth Duncan, with distinction. Satyaki Ghosh. Devin Grant Gillis. Benjamin Joseph Graham, with distinction. C.J. Juan. Evan Thomas Hampton, with distinction. Ali Khan Hassam. Carlos Ivan Hernandez Rosas. Jaikong Huang. Jeffrey Ho. Sadat Islam, with distinction. Alexander Michael James, with distinction. Harji Singh Johal, with distinction. Matthew Allen Kadatz, with distinction. Nicholas Bruce Kos, with distinction. Maria Lau, with distinction. Aiden Danielle Lee, with distinction. Andrea Lemaz. Patrick Alexandra Matchet, with distinction. Adarsh Sivadas Malethil. Mitchell Fraser Newell. Jordan Nord, with distinction. Aidan Michael Patterson. Jeremy Robert Phillips. Brian Foe, with distinction. Artin Rizai Anzabi, with distinction. Davis Anton Batiuk Roman. Nargiz Razieva, with distinction. Tevin William Smith, with distinction. Peter Carl Otto Schultz. Rebecca Celeste Sanger, with distinction. Zachary Stephen Shepard. Narinder Singh. Anil Sood, with distinction. Jeffrey Leonard Swartz, with distinction. Jacob William Turnbull. Natalie May Wong, with distinction. Xiaomin Yu, with distinction. Dai Zhang, with distinction. Eminent Chancellor, this is the 2020 graduating class of the Schulich School of Engineering.
Graduates, throughout this unique convocation ceremony, we have recognized your years of dedication and commitment to your studies and extracurricular activities. You've worked hard and we're proud of all that you've accomplished. Today is a day of celebration. Take photos with your family and friends, cherish the memories you've made along the way. You've done it. You're now officially a University of Calgary graduate, a distinction you will carry with you for the rest of your life. Once more, congratulations. I declare this convocation closed.